All right. Hello and everyone. Now we're back at my Fusion Tech podcast. Today we're joined by one of a very exciting guests, and she is not just a singer, she's quite an innovator. We have Aneesa Leena Sheikh with us. Thank you so much for joining us, Aneesa.
Thank you so much, Aisha, for having me. I'm really happy to finally be talking with you. It's been a minute. We've been trying to schedule this.
Oh my God, yes. So this is for sure like one of the podcasts that I was personally so excited about, but we couldn't like get a hang of it. So Anisa is doing a bunch of stuff, and I'm super excited to be having this conversation today. One reason being she's having some super exciting projects on her sleeve, which we will like dive deeper into. And the other thing is we will be also diving into the tech side of things, the production side of things. Like how is she managing all of that? Like what's her inspiration? Where is she coming from? And then obviously because she's based in New York. She's a pop singer inspired by some of my inspirations. In fact, I think Miley Cyrus is one of her inspirations. So a lot to unpack here. And yeah, let's dive deep in. Anisa, speak to me about your recent music, Boys My Age. And then from there, we're going to go back, all the way back.
Well, Boys My Age is just one of many, many songs that I have, and it's the first one that was released. So about 2 years ago, I went to Nashville and I recorded so many songs I wrote with some of the best songwriters in the world. And if you guys don't realize, over in the UAE, Nashville is like the music capital outside, for inside the US here, more than Los Angeles, more than New York. It's really where a lot of songwriters live, and they're very talented. So that's when I wrote Boys My Age and a couple other songs that I'm not going to share just yet. But
Wow.
Boys My Age was like kind of a long process for me. I recorded it in Nashville, and then I didn't really love the way it turned out. And I was like, why? The lyrics are so good. The lyrics, I love the lyrics so much. I really felt like they spoke to a lot of young girls, actually any age for girls, like anyone. Like I even
Yeah.
had like my grandma's friends singing it, like boys my age, they never want to date. I was like laughing so hard when I saw that. But so what I did with this song, and it really showed my music journey and helped discover who I am as an artist, is I not just had it produced once, I had it produced two, three, four times with different producers, making sure that the sound I got was the one I was gonna release to the public. So there's like a hip hop version, there's a R&B version, there's an EDM version of it, but the one I
Wow.
released is, I mean, you can go listen to it. It's takes it back to more of where I started my music career on the guitar. So that's what I love about it. And like in terms of the actual release, it was my first one after a while. So I really pushed the content on social media, and I even got like, I think I remember Flo Rida reshared the song, and I was like, oh,
Wow. That's
really
super
cool.
exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's Boys My Age, yeah.
Super, super, super. And I'm so happy to understand that there's multiple versions of it that you're
Mm.
also thinking about. It's not just like one official video. But then also speak to me about the concept. Like where is this coming from? Like Boys My Age is has a very catchy title. I mean, it makes me think about a lot of things. So
Really, I wonder what it makes you think about, because you know what's interesting is
when we think about, just the dating culture or whatever, like, just
yes.
the right age, I don't know if that was the thing that you
Yeah, you know,
think about.
for sure. Like coming back to my identity for a minute, being raised in the dichotomy of American and Eastern Pakistani culture, there's like I noticed no such thing as like dating in the Pakistani
Yeah,
culture.
yeah,
So being raised in America, but with my father and I living alone together majority of my life, he was like, "What's this dating?" But then in high school and in college and in middle school, everyone was like, if you had a guy friend, even if you were like studying together, you guys were
yeah.
dating. So then when I moved to New York, I realized, oh my goodness, all my girlfriends here, like they're having a hard time with this dating culture. Like I had a friend, not gonna name names, but she was like 26 and she was a lot older than me. I was 19 at the time. And she would tell me about, "Oh, Anissa, I went on this date. This boy doesn't isn't serious. He's making me run around the city for him. Ugh, this is so annoying." So I like spun the lyrics and I wrote, "Boys my age, they don't want to date. They all want
Mhm.
one thing. They just want me for a day. Like I'm just their arm candy."
Yeah, yeah,
You know?
yeah.
And I feel like us girls are so much more than that. We need to realize our value. And
For
so
sure.
it's more just like I'm gonna make you run around the city, and that's literally what I say in the song. So it's kind of just my observations at that time, and being in America and New York City, in a big city here in Western culture, of how the dating culture was.
And you're absolutely right, because I think having that cultural, I wouldn't say conflict, but like multiple ideas within your head, and then you're,
Yeah,
informed by something, and then you're observing something else, and then it's becoming inspiration for your song. So yeah,
for sure.
that's amazing, and I think that's one thing that I think it's super hard sometimes to create a sweet balance. You want to be inspired by that, you want to talk about it, but in a way that it's not very direct. It's just there within the layer. So that's something that I got when I listened to your song, and it's been like they're trending on your Instagram as well. So
Yeah, thank you. You know, one last thing to add is that a lot of people I was very hesitant to release the song just
mm,
because the lyrics can be interpreted in various ways, and I think
mm,
that's the beauty of music actually, is, like, when someone heard me sing it, they're like, "Oh, are you promoting young girls dating older men?" And I said,
mm,
"I'm not promoting anything of sorts, or even if that's what you take from it, then that's what you take from it, but for me, I'm just promoting, like, I'm a queen, that's it, and, like, all of us girls are, and we don't need to be running around the city.
yeah.
Back in, like, courting days in the back in a couple, like, I guess you could say decades ago, women got sent flowers.
Yes.
You know? You would ask her mom out. You would ask her, not her mom, or you would ask her mom to take the or dad to take the girl out when
Yeah.
there wasn't texting.
Mm.
So it's like, I can play it for my 16-year-old cousin, and she's like, "Oh, no, sorry, I have, like, 15 alarms." Right? And she can play it for I can play it for my 15-year-old cousin and or 16-year-old cousin, and she say, "Oh, Aneesa, this is just like my homecoming date that broke my heart. He just wanted me for a homecoming date for pretty pictures, show off to his friends." And then I can play for my 30-year-old girlfriend who's like, "This is why I don't date boys my age. This is why I need to date someone older than me."
Mm.
And it's really funny how each interpretation.
Yeah, and I'm so this is so interesting because I mean, you wrote it from your perspective, and then you're like getting responses from older
Yeah,
women, from younger girls that
yeah,
they're somehow relating to your ideas, your
yeah.
songs. Yeah, that's super cool. And when you obviously write it, so how is the process like for you for this song and for the other song? So are you completely thinking about the concept on your own and then thinking about what the music would be, or do you have a team that does the lyrics and the
Well,
productions and
I write the lyrics. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
so you take full
So,
control of that.
well, I mean, okay, so it's interesting. So basically, boys my age and those songs I did in Nashville, I wrote with 2 other people in the room,
Mm,
so it was just kind of I like to call music kind of I like to give it a comparison to working out in the gym.
yeah.
Gotta train your vocal cords every day like a muscle. You have to sing. You have to practice songwriting, like going to the gym for your muscles. So I was a lot younger. When I first went to Nashville and was doing the songwriting boot camp, it was really a boot camp. I got to work with some of the best songwriters in the industry. And doing that allowed me to kind of discover my own
Mm,
strength in terms of what muscle I'm best at in terms of songwriting.
right.
And so for boys my age, and I have 2 other songs that I'm gonna be releasing next from that songwriting
Mm,
trip. Not next, but upcoming album, and I wrote based on a song title. I
okay.
wrote, like, a list of every week for a year and a half.
Mm,
I made, like, 20 different song titles in a list in my notes on my phone. And then I would send it to my team. They would be like, "This one's good. This one's not good." Like, what's catchy? Like, Sour Candy was one. Hollow is one of the songs. Boys My Age, Girls My Age, different things. So we took those song titles and put them, and then I play guitar. I've been playing for 15 years. That's when my nails are like not cute,
mm.
being a girly girl. But I like when I was playing guitar and just whatever I felt like, just like little like
Yeah,
riff
yeah, yeah.
melody. And then the other songwriters kind of started, we just kind of crafted the song like that. And then for my next song that's coming out this month, and I think by the time this is gonna be out, it's gonna be already announced. So it's called New York to Lahore.
Okay, wow.
That one, that was completely myself, and I mean, for the English part, it was fully
Mm.
myself, and for the Urdu part, we brought in Ale Heather. He's worked with, like, amazing songs with, like, Coke Studio
Oh
and different
yes.
Pakistan, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He I talked and talked with him, and he got to know kind of what my inspiration was behind the English part, and he helped craft the Urdu because I was learning it, and so
Mm-hmm.
that's a whole nother story, that inspiration behind New York to Lahore, but it's yeah,
And
I'm really
I'm so excited by the name because to be honest, I'm also initially from Lahore, like I'm a Punjabi. So like having this New York to Lahore, like you crafted it well. So I'm
thank you.
having a lot of like your inspiration coming back from the roots. Are you like trying to
Yeah,
trace it, like trying to understand it through your own music? So I mean, art is definitely a journey, and I'm seeing that in your like just the way you're talking about your names and where they're coming from. So it just adds to the layers why someone would want to listen to it, or and having your own unique niche, what we talk about. So
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
having the inspiration from like whatever pop culture that you've been brought up with, whatever you've been listening to, and then having your own little twist to that. And
Mm.
yeah, and also Anisa, I would like to know, like, when you said your inspiration is usually the English songs, right? So how do you then balance it out? Because you said now you're collaborating with let's say Coke Studio artists, and you're interested in bringing the Urdu touch to it. A lot of artists are thinking about like multicultural, or this
Multi-language,
palette of
yeah, yeah.
languages coming in. So talk to me about that. Like, how did you think about this? Because your other songs are very one language, which is in
American,
yeah.
English, and Western. I didn't you know what? It's so interesting you're asking me this because there's so many big name artists actually in
Yeah.
Pakistan that God has brought into my life for me to work with, and I think it wasn't just by chance, it was by, like, destiny because it's like I got more in touch with my culture through working with these artists, but that was because and I would never, like, really gone to my culture or had the opportunity to despite wanting to my whole life, unless it was through my art and my
Yeah.
passion, which was music. So and these artists, like, they always said, "Aneesa, why stick to English? What
Mm.
are you doing? Stick to
Yeah.
English. Why are you trying to sing in Urdu? You're an American girl." And I said, "You guys are miss" they're like, "Are you trying to get more streams or more fan base?" And I said, "You know what? You guys are missing the point." And I got kind of frustrating. I had to separate myself a little bit because it's like, you guys don't know the real me.
Mm.
I, since I was a little girl, have always been out of my father's kids, a big family, like 11 of us. I've always been the one to have this itch of like, "Dad, I want to be the first one of your kids to ask to go back to Pakistan. I want to teach me what to do." I remember driving home from, like, ice skating practice and to school, and he would pick me up, and I say, "Dad, what's the word?" He said, "Shahzadi, that's your name." And I said, "Well, that's the first word he taught me, and it means, like, princess."
Princess, yeah, yeah.
And I was like and that's all he taught me. He said, "That's all you need to know. If anyone says anything else to you, don't answer them."
That's
You know,
so
it was
sweet.
funny. But, like, given my close relation with my dad and, like, moving to Michigan when I was younger from Kentucky for ice skating training with him because he was older, he was retired, I grew up closer to my Pakistani roots. And I think through music and learning, like, and integrating the Urdu into my music now isn't just for a career purpose. Like, other artists might say, "Oh, I want to add Spanish to hit the Latin market. Oh, I want to do this to hit
Mm.
this market, French to," and I'm like, for me, it's simply I am accomplishing a goal of mine,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like my little girl self. It's like, oh my gosh, this makes me feel being
Mm.
singing in my dad's language, going and visiting Pakistan first in my family too, out of my dad's kids and, my mom too. Doing that is not just for music, it is connecting to my culture,
Wow.
making me feel closer to him
Mm.
in a way that's like there's no other way for me to like he passed away recently. So going and connecting with my culture is
Yeah.
my way of feeling closer to my dad. So it's a lot more than just like, oh, I can learn language. Oh, I can, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it's beautiful. I can do that through music. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
that's
Because you're
that's why.
right. Otherwise you have a lot of options. If the idea was to penetrate different markets and to hit certain goals, and
I'm in
you
New
could have
York.
chosen,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you could have
Yeah.
chosen any other language, and why this? So
Yeah.
I think it has a lot to do with like I said, tracing back, kind of bringing your upbringing and somehow some parts of culture. But Anisa, like when were you last in Pakistan or Lahore or these areas?
I was actually in Pakistan, October 17th in
Ah,
Lahore, and that's when I
okay.
wrote the song. I was gonna do these a series of festivals there, music festivals, and I ended up saying, you know what, I think the best launch for me will be a song, and then now so then I came back to New York. I had a campaign here for
Mm.
modeling campaign, like a so
Yeah.
had to I couldn't miss this. It was a big opportunity in my American career,
Right.
So then, sadly, my dad, that's when he passed away, and I was, with him during that, and I
Mm.
think it's crazy how I was visiting where he used to walk, where his family, working on my music over there in the studio, writing my song "New York to Lahore," where it was written there, and
Sounds like a lot to handle, like in one time frame.
you know what, God's timing,
Yeah.
God's
Yeah.
timing, and just being with him in that moment, and then actually I'm going back to Pakistan, so I'm flying over there this next week, because I'm doing my song release, so yeah.
Wow, wow. That's so exciting. And the way you again, coming back to how you talked about, your upbringing, your culture and all
Mm,
of that. And now it makes sense that you were there and that's when you decided and it came full circle and then obviously had to come back. So there's like back and
yeah.
forth thing going on. And I'm sure like the more you come, you'll understand the culture more. And it's not so much about sometimes how the media portrays certain country goes for Pakistan as well. Uh,
100%. I mean, even so okay, this is interesting. Even my mom,
mm,
who was married with my dad for, like, 35 years, okay? Totally open-minded lady, just
mm,
got scared for me. She said, "You're not allowed to go." I have some of my even Pakistani-born friends
yeah.
that have here and haven't visited since they were kids or, you know, and they're like, "Aneesa, what are you doing? You'll go, like, wear sunglasses." And I'm like, there's a lot of northern Pakistanis with green eyes." Like, I'm like, you come on." Like,
Mhm.
and it's just like, I feel like I'm even breaking their stereotypes and perceived perceptions from the news outlets here, and it's very sad that news has such a strong impact to shape a whole mentality and understanding viewpoint of a culture, a country, and a society.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like I'm kind of breaking that stereotype through my music, and I
Yeah.
really like it. Like it's
Yeah.
cool. I'm like,
Yeah.
Mom,
Yeah.
with me next time, and they're like, maybe I will now. Like I have friends like, oh wait, like if we're gonna go back to Pakistan or we're gonna ever go, we're gonna go with Anissa.
Mm. And that's super nice because I think even for me, I'll be traveling next week to Pakistan. So, I have multiple like premieres and stuff. So perhaps
I
we can connect if you're in Karachi.
Yes,
So,
we will, we will. Oh, you're gonna be I'm going to Lahore, but I
okay.
might have to stop in Karachi, who knows?
Ah, I mean, like
Eh
to be honest, I've been spending my entire life in Lahore, and then I moved to Karachi when I was in my high school time.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, so I mean, like after that, I found Lahore to be like a place where I wouldn't personally go just because there's like pollution stuff, but still the sweetest place ever. Like people have been saying, oh, there are environmental issues, there's this and that.
Culture is the same,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, there's insane culture. But yeah, that's for another time. And I would actually like to know your thoughts, Anissa, on current tech space because I really wanted to know your thoughts on the production sides of things
Yeah,
because you are involved in like a lot of shoots and stuff. And with AI's buzz, with machine
definitely.
learning and data collection, a lot of buzzwords. What is your take on this? And how can a creator find its place and collaborate perhaps or not collaborate perhaps with AI?
I think it's how you use it. And I
Mm.
know that sounds very simple, but I'll explain. So when I was like my entire final year last year at New York University, I studied music business, performance, and entrepreneurship, and every single course of mine had AI.
Mm.
Like it was a theme of AI. Like we weren't allowed to use it in some
Yeah.
classes. Some we were encouraged to use it, but we had to explain how to use it. And we talked a lot about how AI is replacing the music and how it's going to be integrating into DSPs,
Mm.
production, creative process. And from that, I actually learned and I witnessed in my own life too, and from my educational background, is it cannot replace humans. It
It cannot.
cannot.
It
It
cannot.
cannot. But what it does is this world we live in is so quick paced. And, it's always like you get left behind if you're not always hustling and working hard every day and making moves. You get left
And
behind.
also
Like,
adapting to the scenarios, like, with tech and
yeah,
everything, you just have to adapt.
you have no choice because the thing is, like, AI can be really powerful if you know how to use it correctly.
Yeah.
And so for music, in the music space, I would say you cannot write a song with
Mm.
meaning behind it with just AI.
Yeah.
My song New York to Lahore, that comes from my heart. I don't think AI could write if I typed into AI or ChatGPT exactly what I was thinking when I was writing it,
Hmm.
I don't think it would be the same. I maybe should do
You can't
social media.
resonate with the final thing that AI is doing.
You
Never.
cannot.
You can
But
brainstorm it. If you're stuck, you're
yes,
just like, okay, let's have a breather and maybe see what other things, directions I can find as like a laborious job you can give to AI, but you can't resonate with the whatever AI is doing as your final thing, I think.
I think
Yeah.
it helps with bookkeeping tasks like intellectual property organization, but the thing is, one specific incident where I saw AI very useful in music creation actually was that it was with my song New York to Lahore coming up. So I was in Pakistan, I was working with a producer over there, and he had something come up personally and wasn't able to send me my files
Hmm.
uh, for the song, and I needed to keep moving forward with it because, yeah,
Hmm.
whatever. So I get to the US and all I had was my demo file, like my demo of it that we did over there. And I took it to my producers here and I said, "What do we do? Because I want to redo the entire song, but I want to take my vocals out so that we have that, okay?" And what they did was they pulled it into an AI plugin on the vocal production, like in a DAW, a digital
Hmm.
audio workspace, and it separated each instrument
Wow,
instead of having
yes.
to that is crazy. So it took a two-dimensional file and basically separated it completely. And then we could really hear exactly what we didn't like, what we did like. We ended up re-recording the whole vocal anyway, but that was really useful for us to
Yeah.
hear what the breakdown of different things have a skeleton, and it sped up our time so much so that we could spend more time on other areas of the creative
Yeah.
process, like recording the vocals. Instead of sitting in an hour, 2 hours go by, it was done in 10 minutes. So I think AI helps with the efficiency of the world and
The
going what
creative process in general, I think that's
yeah.
what AI is supposed to do. It's not supposed to, I was actually very frustrated when AI actually started to make paintings. I was like, you know what, AI was supposed to take the laborious jobs. Why is it like hitting the creative industry and the artists? Why? But then you're slowly, seeing it develop. I think as human beings, we also need to be challenged. Even if AI is able to do certain songs, even if AI is able to do certain things, I think we as human beings, we as artists, need to see this as a challenge, as a creative challenge, and to
Mhm.
be able to say that, okay, this is being done. So how can I, as an artist, how can I, as a thinker and creative mind, take this up a notch and do
Yeah.
something that AI is unable to do? Bring it meaning, bring it
No,
more
it can
fun.
be useful in just speeding up learning instruments, learning chords to a song. Like I
Yeah,
have this app, instead of having to sit and like learn the chords, I can pull it in the app and it tells me, which is
yeah,
it
yeah.
kind of makes me a dumb musician at times. I'm like, I'm so thankful to have learned actually how to read music
Hmm.
when AI was never around. But it does help make, I think it makes every industry, regardless of music or not, anything you're gonna do in this world more accessible for
Yeah,
someone to be able
for
to say, "Oh,
sure.
I can do it. I like Google, like the dot-com era, now we're in the AI era." So, yeah, that's not about AI. Sorry, I'm passionate about it.
And one other thing, Anisa. So I mean, I've been seeing your Instagram, and one other thing that jumped out to me was obviously your sense of style. So I really wanted to like talk a bit about it, because obviously you're into music, you're an artist yourself, and again relating it back to AI as well. I think one other thing that I personally found AI to be useful for, and I want your views on that, is that it's able to generate like very cool concepts for fashion, like whether it's video art, whether it's image generation. So how open are you for like concepts? Like, would you, when you're constructing video concepts, like when the direction is happening for your music videos, are you open to collaborate with AI in any way for your concepts, or are you like, no, we're going to do make it as realistic as possible? It has to be shot in real. I'm not interested in VFX or whatever.
You know what? I think if you're stuck and you don't know what to do, then AI is useful. But for me, with so far, I've never used AI for concept
Mm.
because that's my strength in
Yeah,
creativity.
yeah,
I have these crazy ideas,
yeah. Mm.
but it's like, okay, now I actually have to make it happen. And so for me, where I would use AI in my creative process is, okay, these are all my ideas. Is this realistic? You know what I mean? Can you help me with a marketing plan? If this is what I wanna do for marketing, if I wanna do influencer relationships, if I wanna do all this,
Mm.
what order? How much
Yeah.
is my budget? What allocation? That's my stuff. But I see why
Mm.
you or the other artists may say, "I'm stuck. I need
Mm.
I have writer's block, I need help, and that's useful too to get your brain going.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, 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 you answered it perfectly. I think it's good to generate ideas and to see the possibility of something that you haven't explored yet just
Mm,
before, putting so much time and hours into it. So it's always good to kind of just do a quick screening, I would say, not
yeah,
creating the end product because humans are supposed to put their emotion in, whether it's a painting, music, or whatever. I think art
yeah.
is supposed to stay like that. And I hope so for decades to come. Although this is like taking over, and I'm happy that it's bringing accessibility for the people who are not into the creative space. It gives them that ability to do that, but I think it should not take away from the original artists, the people whose data on which AI is actually feeding on. So I think that's an important bit. But okay, so Aneesa, what's next for you? What are the projects? What are the dates? Drop some
Well,
dates.
you can't ask me that, I have too much. I'll make it really short and sweet. Basically, as of yesterday, I got confirmation that Spotify has put me as the equal ambassador for Pakistan for the month of
Wow,
January.
amazing. That's
When I tell
super.
you, okay, 2 things along with this. When I tell you, if my life is not a manifestation case study when I pass away, I don't know what the word manifestation is because I'm
Wow.
gonna give you a little hint. My song, the first lyric in my song called New York to Lahore, it says, I'm a billboard queen.
Oh my
The
God.
first and like I know that sounds really traunchy, like self and but you have to listen to the whole song, okay?
Well, I believe in manifestations. I believe whatever you say. This is what
No,
I
but then
believe.
like I never could have imagined because
Mm,
for the equal ambassador, you get the billboard in Times Square, and I literally
yeah.
live in New York, and it's called New York to Lahore. I wrote it in Lahore, doing the billboard here, and it's like what means the most to me is I always said music to me is not just about the listeners or the gold
Mm,
for the Grammy trophies. It is about w when words fail, music speaks. How can I turn my music career into my self-actualization? And that's through like a music therapy nonprofit down the line, fostering women, education through creative-based learning. And so for Equal Pakistan, that's basically their foundation is
yeah.
equality for women in art space and music and around the world in different like fields. And so for me, I'm not only getting a chance by having this role to speak on my heart with the New York to Lahore song, bridging both like of me, but also seeing it come to real life for my music
It's double
with the
exciting.
like
Yeah.
the meaning behind it,
Yeah.
which literally is where my heart is and why I do music. I'm so excited, guys. New York to Lahore comes out this month. The video a very special that you guys may know. So yeah, you have to check out the video. I'm excited.
Superb, superb, superb. And I'm so happy that, you came to this podcast, talked about it, and we're definitely going to do more sessions on this because I would love to catch up on a lot of things that were missed out of, today because there's a lot to unpack here. But I'm
It's a
happy that
lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm happy that we touched upon, one thing which is AI. I mean, everyone is talking about it. It's always good, for creatives like you to be talking about it so that people are encouraged that, artists are not, taking this back and, this is their space. So happy that Aneesa you came and best of luck for the projects that you're doing. And I'm super excited and hopeful that they are going to be a success for sure. And we're going to
Thank
catch up
you.
soon. So thank you so
Thank
much,
you so
Aneesa, for
much for
joining in.
having
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. I'll talk with you soon.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care.